Good morning. Welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, Calvin Butenoff coming to you live from our studio here at Radio Park in Racine. You can always join us. You can call or text. The number is the same, 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Friday of a long weekend.
Jane, it's Friday?
It is Friday.
Doesn't that feel like we're like going to, I don't know, give something away? Or
It does.
I mean, like I feel like the need to just give our listeners something like, I don't know, a 4-pack of tickets to a baseball game.
Doesn't that sound nice?
It sounds so wonderful.
Sounds like kind of a free ticket Friday kind of thing.
I like that. Let's brand that. TM, trademark, Jane and Greg. No one else can have that.
Coming up in just a little bit, we will give you the word of the show. The word of the show.
It's not bird. It's not, the word isn't the bird.
No, it is. That's Lou Anne Bird.
That's Lou Anne Bird.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, we will have a word for you. I'll give it to you in a little bit. It's called a tease. You're going to have to wait. It's coming up in a little bit. And when we tell you said word, you want to text it in using the Civic Media app. Mm-hmm. You will have until the end of the show, until 11 o'clock, to text in that word. And that gets you in the running for a 4-pack of tickets to see our Milwaukee Brewers on Tuesday, May 27th, when they take on Boston.
That's going to be a good game.
It is going to be a really good game. And these are really good seats. These are club-level seats. So stick around. We have the word of the show coming up for you in just a little bit. And that's also going to give you time if you do not yet have the Civic Media app.
Yeah.
Go to wherever you get your apps. Look for Civic Media. Download the Civic Media app because that's the way you enter the contest. You have to text it in using the Civic Media app.
Absolutely. You can also send us a voice note, too, because that's a new fun feature.
It is a new fun feature.
Mm-hmm.
If, say, you're driving and you would like to take part in the show and you can't because you're on the road or whatever, when you get a chance to pull over, you can call via the app.
Yes, you can text via the app.
But you can call and leave a voice note.
You press a button, you record it like you would on your phone for a text message as well, and you just send it to us. We get it. We'll listen to it, of course. We want to make sure, A, it's in context, and B, it's FCC compliant.
Yeah, that's important.
But then if it works, we'll play it on the air. And also, really quick, if you'd like, and this would be nice, identify yourself. Give us your first name, where you're listening, and the station you're listening to. And
love to know that.
We'd love to know that stuff. So, yeah, get the free Civic Media app. It's absolutely free.
And it's pretty fabulous, too. All right, we have a whole bunch of things coming up on the show today. Next hour, we will lighten things up as we always do around 10:20. We're going to talk to the Madison Mallards. I'm very excited.
Maybe in light of, Jane, of the Brewers just being a third place under 500 team, I'll just glom on to Northwoods baseball.
I think that's the right way to go.
The Mallards, well, let's go to independent baseball like the Milkmen, go to a Kenosha Kingfish game.
Yep.
Honestly, I love the Brewers. I love going to Brewers games, but there's something about small league baseball that's just fun. It's inexpensive.
They don't take themselves too seriously.
Oh, gosh, no. I mean,
which is one of the things I think that's best about. They come up with the best promotions on the planet. They really do.
Yes, I absolutely agree. So we're excited to have Kyle back on the show to talk about the Madison Mallards and everything going on this season. And I'm sure it's going to include some very unique theme nights. And that's going to be fun.
They tend to do that.
Yeah.
Tyler Moss will be here from Milwaukee Record after the 10:30 news to talk about things going on around Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. If you're looking for something to do this long holiday weekend. And, of course, Monday is Memorial Day. That is the reason why we have a long weekend. It is to remember those who have given their lives in service of this country. Yeah. And I did see someone text in, I want to say it was to Todd's show yesterday, who said if we would really like to do something, contact a veteran that you know and offer to mow their lawn.
Yeah.
Or do something for them. Or take them somewhere. Or grocery shopping. Or go grocery shopping for them. Or something like that.
Yeah. Something someone said a while ago on social media when it was doing good for us all was, while it is our natural instinct to say Happy Memorial Day, it really, we want people to be happy, but and it's not a celebration. It's a day of remembrance, an observance of a solemn sacrifice that these individuals made. Sacrifice. This isn't a Veterans Day. This is for those we've lost in defense of our country, for the freedoms we enjoy every single day. And I would say sometimes take for granted. So just in between shopping for a mattress and eating that sausage.
Yeah.
Take a moment to remember those who we've lost and
why we have this day.
And if that includes someone that you know, like family, call them and tell them you're thinking of them, and just make them know that their sacrifice wasn't in vain.
And we remember.
Yeah, exactly.
We remember. All right. This kind of broke as we were coming on the air this morning, and we're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I did think it was important to mention President Trump this morning proposed a 50% tariff on all goods from the European Union, saying that trade negotiations with the EU are going nowhere, so he wants those 50% tariffs to kick in on June 1st. That's quick. And then in a separate social media post, the president threatened Apple with a minimum 25% tariff if Apple doesn't start making iPhones here in the U.S. Stock market reacted really well to this. Everything is down.
Yeah.
The Dow is down. The S&P is down. The NASDAQ is down. We'll see what happens with this. I don't know. He could back off on this in an hour.
I mean, all he has to say is, yes, sir. And he'd be like, oh, I love everything again. And I think you made the comment before we got on the show that if Apple somehow brought manufacturing to this country and made iPhones in the United States of America, you said they would be what, 10?
I've seen everything from $5,000 to $30,000 per phone. But I'm sure that's going to happen right away.
Also, the Republican Party just loves telling business how to operate. That's their MO, stepping on the business freedom.
Yeah, seems kind of a reversal, doesn't it?
Absolutely,
it's kind of interesting.
Even liberals are like, "Hey, dude, that's kind of our stage, and that's a little much."
Well, again, we'll see how long this lasts. If the market continues to react, and the bond market hasn't been doing very well, so we'll see how long this stays in place.
Yeah.
Could be over by even before the end of the show. Never know. We did want to talk about the big blob of a bill that passed the House.
Barely.
Uncle Rojo.
Does he have concerns?
Senator Ron Johnson, Wisconsin senior senator, weighing in on this bill that now goes to the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
It was passed in the House, but that doesn't mean it's a done deal. Senator Ron Johnson yesterday criticizing the House GOP bill, saying they set the bar way too low in order to generate savings. Quote, they just kept talking about $1.5 trillion. They set the bar way too low. The goal of the House effort has been to pass one big, beautiful bill. It's rhetoric. It's false advertising. The goal should have been to reduce average annual deficits, so we have to focus on spending. He was asked about the couple holdouts in the House.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas Massey is like the number one guy who's been holding out on this. He said, in the House, President Trump can threaten a primary, and those guys want to keep their seats. I understand the pressure, says Ron Johnson. Can't pressure me that way. Okay.
This is sort of confusing. Like he's upset that we're not cutting enough.
Yes.
We're not cutting enough from the government to get these savings for the big. Like I'm not being funny here. I truly don't understand. He says this, and then we have a clip of what he said to this reporter, which sounds like a different Ron Johnson than who's concerned about too much cutting. Cal, can you play that clip, please?
I'm concerned about my children, my grandchildren, and the fact that we are stealing from them. We are stealing from our children and grandchildren. $37 trillion in debt, and we're going to add to it as Republicans? That is unacceptable. And that's why there's no way I'm going to vote for this bill in its current form.
All right.
Well, first of all, Ron, I appreciate the concern for people who aren't you, but your children and grandchildren will never have to worry about anything. Your great grandchildren, generations of Johnsons will have to worry about nothing. I do want to read what Thomas Massey said about the big, beautiful deal, because not only was it very good, but it was also just poetic. Mr. Speaker, we are not rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic tonight. We are putting coal in the boiler and setting course for the iceberg. Wow. But do you see what I'm saying, though, Jane? Like, what he says here is we set the bar too low
because we're not cutting enough.
But then this interview he says on the clip we just heard, he's saying that we're stealing from our kid. I don't understand how that connects.
Well, it's the whole thing is that we're saddling our children and grandchildren with this deficit. That's how I follow this.
So does he think that even in the current form of, and I'm being serious when I ask this because he's such a character that he says lots of things in lots of
He
places.
says many things.
So he thinks that the current version of it that they passed through the House is going to saddle his grandchildren and children with too much debt, or is it that the current bill that's coming to the Senate will saddle?
Well, and again, they're talking about raising the debt ceiling.
Yeah, it's not making sense to me, honestly, because I don't know where he's coming from. Like, all of a sudden he's concerned about people, but he wants to cut more.
Well, right there, but he's not. He's concerned about the deficit. He's not concerned about people who will be suffering under these cuts. That's not what he's worried about.
Oh, he's worried about
No. He's worried about the deficit.
What does he care about the deficit?
They've been using that for decades.
Yeah, I know.
They've been using that for decades. And everyone seems to forget, maybe I'm the only one who remembers this, when Dick Cheney said deficits don't matter. Google it.
Yeah.
Google it.
I guess that at the end of the day, that's the thing that like always confounds me the most, Jane, is when Ron Johnson purports to care about anything. I'm like, wait,
You do?
you do? About what and how? And that when you listen to that clip, you think, oh, is he really caring? And then you couple it with this, you're like, oh, he doesn't care at all.
No, it's about saddling our children and grandchildren with the deficit. Notice that they're not concerned about, I don't know, leaving a poisoned atmosphere or poisoned water or any of that stuff. Not worried about that with his grandkids.
Well, also,
That's all going to be fine.
the version they'd pass now, not the version apparently he wants, which will give him more tax cuts, tax breaks. Either version, whether it's his version or what goes through the House, is going to explode our deficit. And economists of all sorts have said this. That's just the truth. So if he's really worried about deficits,
I don't know, if you really want to try savings, maybe get rid of the pass-through that you held out for last time that benefited you and your corporation and all your other rich buddies. Maybe get rid of that write-off for private planes that he also was a big proponent of.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, and I know these are just little cuts because not a lot of us have that write-off for our private planes. So there would only be a few people that would affect. But, you know, you take savings where you get them.
yeah, also, let's also just, tax the rich, tax corporations. Let's just do that.
It's a
That
thought.
would pay for so much stuff. So much.
855-752-4842. Gene from Eau Claire on the line. Good morning, Gene. We got about a minute. Thanks for joining us.
Great job, as usual. Every day is a great day with you guys. So I just want to say, remember, he brought up his kids first. His wealth is going to his kids. He's concerned about a future deficit that maybe his kids might be taxed for. Remember the comments that he made about other people's children that they shouldn't care about him. Remember that? It was really calloused when people brought up children in the past. But remember, he said his children first. And he don't want to pay any taxes. The guy's never, ever supported any policies that help kids or parents or the state of Wisconsin. So thank you very much, guys. Keep up the great work.
Thanks a
Thanks,
lot,
Gene.
Gene. I really appreciate it, Gene. We are right up against the break. When we return, the word of the show is on the way. Stay with us. You are listening to Matenaer On Air. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. We'll be right back. Good morning and welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach. Dr. Slide is on the board, coming to you live from our studio at Radio Park in Racine, where you can always join us, call or text or leave a comment. If you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter, it is time, Greg Bach, for the big, beautiful word of the show.
Can't wait.
Grab your phone.
Yeah.
Open up the Civic Media app and text in the word right now. The word is BASE, B-A-S-E. Text in the word BASE using the Civic Media app, and you are in the running for a 4-pack of club-level seats to see the Brewers host Boston on May 27th. That's coming up next week.
Mm-hmm. And those seats are good.
Yeah, these are good seats. So text in the word BASE right now, B-A-S-E, and you are in the running for that 4-pack of tickets to see the Crew host Boston on May 27th in our statewide Text to Win contest. Coming up between 11 and 2, Tom Hartman will have a different word for you to text in during his show. And then the same with Todd Alba from 2 to 4, who is going to broadcast from Pat Kreitlow's backyard.
What could go wrong?
And then Maggie Dawn today from 4 to 6 p.m. But right now, the word you want to text in is BASE, B-A-S-E. Good luck. And you have until 11 o'clock to text that in. We got entry. I love watching the entries come in. Christy from Eau Claire and Jeff from Racine and TJ in Green Bay and Kim in Milwaukee and Dennis in Milwaukee. Keep it up. And good luck. The word this hour, a word that during the show today is BASE, B-A-S-E. Good luck. We're going to spend a little time talking about the big grifting dinner last night. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean this personal, private dinner that Donald Trump hosted with people who bought his meme coin. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here at all. Because as Donald Trump's press secretary said, he did this on his private time.
Yeah.
He did this on his private time.
Don't worry about it.
No, nothing. Please, just let it go. Jimmy Kimmel has a pretty good compilation of last night's dinner. Calvin, can we play that clip from Jimmy Kimmel, please?
Tonight was Trump's big crypto dinner. He hosted the top 220 investors in his meme coin at his golf club in Virginia.
Which
These
has
people
no value.
Gave Trump's business a combined $394 million for this dinner in one night. Seats went from $55,000 to $37 million a pop. And no plus ones. That's just by yourself. The idea that our president had what was basically an auction, not for charity. He doesn't do that.
No.
An auction where the winner gets dinner with him is insane. Reports say most of these people paid with foreign currency, so they're probably not even from this country. And as of now, we have no idea of who they are.
On the president's dinner tonight, will the White House commit to making a list of the attendees public so people can see who's paying for that kind of access to the president?
Well, as you know, Gareth, this question has been raised with the president. I have also addressed the dinner tonight. The president is attending it in his personal time. It is not a White House dinner. It's not taking place here at the White House. But certainly I can raise that question and try to get you an answer. The president is abiding by all conflict of interest laws that are applicable to the president. And I think everybody, the American public, believe it's absurd for anyone to insinuate that this president is profiting off of the presidency.
She's funny, too. She's funny also. Because as far as I know, he's the only president I've ever heard of who sells his own Bible and watch.
Yeah, the guy sells Trump Bibles, people, but it's not a grift.
No, nothing to see here.
Nothing. It's all perfectly fine.
Almost $400 million in foreign money.
And do you know who is among the top buyers of this grift coin? Justin Sun, a Chinese billionaire.
Shocking.
I thought we didn't like the Chinese, or we didn't want to do business with the Chinese because you can't trust them.
That's what I'm like. That's kind of like the whole thing I said earlier about Ron John. It comes out one side of their mouth and comes out the other side. Like, we don't like China. We want to tariff the living heck out of China. We want to beat them up with tariffs.
Right.
But we love Xi Jinping, and he will take their money.
Justin Sun, this Chinese crypto billionaire, made a big splash on Thursday, reveled in his status as one of the biggest holders of President Donald Trump's cryptocurrency, which again essentially has no value.
Yeah.
It's not even something you can hold in your hand.
No. And also, I don't know who like there are businesses who take Bitcoin. You can pay with Bitcoin.
Right.
But just because you have crypto doesn't mean you can pay with any crypto you have. That you have to be able to. Basically, if you can spend it, fine. You have quote unquote money, but it's ones and zeros, and those ones and zeros fluctuate in value. And if someone says, "No, I don't take Trump coin," that's an irrelevant thing to me. Then you essentially don't have a valuable item in your hand or in your computer.
Mr. Sun also claims to have been awarded a Trump Golden Tourbillon watch. Retail price $100,000.
Yeah, watch a video on those things and see how shoddy and terrible these are.
No, they're the highest of quality. It's the highest of quality, Greg. Yeah. A big night for Mr. Sun, who holds more than $20 million in the Trump meme coin, which he says makes him the top holder of said coin. He also invested another $75 million in another Trump family crypto project, World Liberty Financial. Again, Justin Sun, a Chinese crypto billionaire, was at last night's dinner where, by the way, he had the presidential seal.
Yeah.
But it was a private dinner.
It's a private dinner.
Nothing to do with his role as president, but the presidential seal was on a podium.
Jane, Americans think this is absurd what you're talking about right now. She
Am I just being silly?
I like how she said this has been handled, Gareth.
Oh.
Like she was so like,
excuse me,
it was
Gareth.
Like, oh.
We have news coming up next. When we return, we talked a little bit yesterday about some of the extra things they snuck into that bill in the House. You thought tanning beds was not good. Just wait. We have all the details on the other side. Stay with us. You're listening to Matenaer On Air. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. Good morning. Welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, Sweet Calby on the board. Coming to you live from our studio at Radio Park in Racine, where you can always join us. Call or text or leave a comment on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Speaking of the live stream, we have our Text to Win statewide contest is going on right now.
Correct.
You cannot enter by putting the word on the live stream.
Nope.
You have to use the app.
You can't send it to us via traditional text. You can't send it via the
email,
nothing. You can't call it in. It's got to be through the Civic Media app. So download that app. And as I think it was Matt Rothschild has said, he got the app to listen to our show.
Oh.
If Matt Rothschild can do it,
it's super easy.
It's super easy. So get it on your phone. Text us the word. The word is BASE, B-A-S-E. Spelling does count in this matter.
It does.
And good luck to you.
We got a 4-pack of Milwaukee Brewers tickets up for grabs. Club level seats for Tuesday, May 27th, as the Crew host Boston. So you have until 11 o'clock to text in the word BASE, B-A-S-E. BASE is the word. Up until 11, Tom Hartman will have a different word for you from 11 to 2. Another one with Todd from 2 to 4, and then Maggie Dawn from 4 to 6. But right now, the word you want to text in via the Civic Media app only is BASE, B-A-S-E. Getting the running for this contest, just like Carmela, our friend in Milwaukee.
Carmela.
Luann in Wanderers, Mike in Oshkosh, John in Oshkosh, Peter, New London, Tom from West Dallas. Keep them coming. The word is BASE, B-A-S-E.
I love that there's a place in Wisconsin called Wanderers.
I know. That's how I feel about butternut.
Butternut. Yeah, it's
just a nice thing.
You bet. There's a place called You Bet in Wisconsin. Oh, you bet.
Oh, you bet.
I'm from You Bet.
Text in the word BASE, B-A-S-E. You have until 11 o'clock using the Civic Media app. Wanted to start off a little bit talking about that bill that the House passed. And we spent a little time talking about that yesterday. In particular, they kind of snuck some things in there that weren't getting a lot of attention. And I think it's worth pointing out when we look back at the 4 meetings that Wisconsin's Joint Finance Committee held around the state, and the top 3 things that residents were concerned about in Wisconsin were health care, education, and child care. Are any of these things covered in these measures passed by the House? No, of course not. Of course, all of Wisconsin's Republicans voted in favor of this.
Of course they did.
And what did they include in this big, beautiful bill but a break for tanning beds? We mentioned that yesterday. Calvin, I believe we have a clip that we can use. Let's play that clip, please, about this great tax breaks for tanning beds.
So that the American public knows what this bill does, one of the little things that it does, would you please read page 901, line 20?
I think it'd be better if you read it.
I don't want to read it.
Oh, he doesn't want to read it.
I'll
read it.
I know the
actually,
legislation, but I'm
Ranking
not
Member
be
Moore,
part of your little
Ranking Member
show
Moore
here, so you can read it.
It was a question if you
love
would
talking
read
over
it, so I'll
people.
ask Ranking Member Moore to read the text. This is in their bill. They don't want to read a line from their own bill. Ranking Member.
I don't want to read the bill for you.
I'll
help you out. I am testifying about this legislation. I'm not going to read the bill to you.
Are you embarrassed?
Okay, I am. This is amazing.
Ms. Lager
You're
Fernandez, shall I pass this back or shall I read it?
This is Wisconsin's Gwen Warren.
Section 111106, repeal of excise tax on indoor tanning services.
So they're going to repeal. They're repealing an excise tax on tanning beds. Okay, so if you have a tanning bed, you get a little bit of a tax break. And if you need a hospital bed in rural America, I'm sorry, you're out of luck.
It's priorities, Greg.
Yeah.
It's making sure we have our priorities straight. There's a big tanning bed lobby based in Mar-a-Lago, I'm sure. They need a break on these tanning beds. Come on.
I said it yesterday, and I'm going to mention it again. There's a millisecond of a moment in that clip towards the end where you hear a distant voice go, oh God. I think I'm going to clip that, increase the volume, and make it a hot button. So every time we have to listen to this sort of junk, you can be like, oh God. Because is this important?
No.
No.
And again, if we take a look at the 4 meetings that the Joint Finance Committee held across Wisconsin, tanning beds, I don't think that ever came up.
No.
Shockingly.
Also, you're mispronouncing what those were. Those were called dog and pony shows.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah, because nothing that was said to those individuals on the JFC was listened to or enacted or even considered.
No.
It was simply just it was nothing. And people waited a long time. Cassandra
She waited for 9 hours.
9 hours. And at the end of the day said she wasn't going to say what she said because everyone had already made their statements that agreed with what she was talking about. And she knew that nothing was going to happen. And these are big issue items: childcare, education, healthcare. And I'm sure people also want to talk about marijuana legalization, want to talk about gun safety. They wanted to talk about protecting our environment here in Wisconsin, conservation measures, or maybe just bring up the fact that, I'm sorry, I'm getting off track here. I'm getting very, very upset that I'm supposed to believe that this big, beautiful bill or the Joint Finance Committee in Madison gives a tinker's cuss about any of us who are trying to earn a real living and live that American dream that we were told should be attainable.
Well, you mentioned gun safety.
Yeah.
They did slip something else into this big, beautiful bill.
Jane, was it a measure on red flag laws or universal background checks? Something that, by the way, most gun owners and Americans agree on?
No.
Oh, darn.
No, Republicans passed a tax break for gun silencers.
I thought those were either illegal or just John Wick movies.
Well, now you got a tax break for gun silencers because, again, so many of us went before the Joint Finance Committee here in Wisconsin telling them, I need this. In a speech at 4 a.m. on Thursday, the Republicans were pushing through their big, beautiful bill. Representative Andrew Clyde of Georgia taking credit for this provision, which eliminates a $200 excise tax on gun silencers. By the way, Representative Clyde owns a gun shop. Isn't that nice?
But
isn't that nice?
He doesn't. Why should then just do to your customers what other countries are doing to us and charge your customers to? Because here's the thing: is if Representative Clyde takes that $200 excise, it's a tax stamp per device. I'm looking at it right now. Silencers are legal in 42 states. That $200 tax most likely is passed on to the customer.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a question for Representative Clyde. If that goes through and the excise tax is eliminated, is he going to lower the price of that process by $200? Probably not.
I would say not.
He's going to find another reason to charge them, whether it's convenience, whether it's professional setup, whatever, and he'll still keep that money. He didn't have to pay in the first place because I'm sure his customers paid it. God, this is infuriating.
Mr. Clyde, again, who put forth this tax break for gun silencers, owns a gun shop called Clyde Armory in Athens, Georgia. The store lists silencers for sale on its website. Was previously put under an enhanced federal monitoring program because it found that more than 25 guns sold there had been used in crimes within 3 years of their purchase. Oops.
Oh, wow. Well, thank God they can still at least track them for now.
Speaking of gun safety, this is another thing from last week that we did not have an opportunity to talk about. This is from NBC News. Trump administration permits sale of device that allows standard firearms to fire like machine guns. Justice Department last week announced a settlement in a lawsuit brought by the National Association for Gun Rights. The lawsuit challenged a rule banning forced reset triggers. This is a device that allows semi-automatic weapons to fire rapid bursts of bullets. Attorney General Pam Bondi says the Department of Justice believes the Second Amendment is not a second-class right.
Oh, God.
Shut
up.
We're glad to end a needless cycle of litigation with a settlement that will enhance public safety. I know I would feel much safer if there were more weapons that could fire bullets more rapidly.
Because, Jane, my Second Amendment right is totally being hampered when my gun only goes pop, pop, pop. It's got to go pop, 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 pop. And then I feel freedom of freedom. That's how I feel.
Vanessa Gonzalez is a spokeswoman for Gabby Giffords.
Yeah.
Who was shot in the head, by the way. and the gun prevention group led by her, she says the Trump administration has just effectively legalized machine guns. Lives will be lost because of this action. This is an incredibly dangerous move that will enable shooters to inflict horrific damage. The only people benefiting from these being on the market are the people who will make money from selling them. Everyone else will suffer the consequences. I know I feel much safer.
The Second Amendment isn't a second class. Since when has this country ever, in at least the past 50 years, when has the Second Amendment ever been downtrodden? When has it ever been in jeopardy?
But the NRA has been really, really good. People accuse us of fear-mongering, which kills me. The NRA has been fear-mongering for 50 years.
Yeah, they have been.
They're coming for your guns. They're coming for your guns. They're coming for your guns.
And
it's never happened.
And it's never happened. And I don't even know. I personally don't know in my life a person who says, get rid of all guns. To me, get rid of all guns is as ridiculous as a statement to say as make iPhones in the United States of America. The sheer breadth and weight of responsibility on government, local, state, and federal to enact programs to delete guns. That's just, let's not do that. Plus, also, I do believe in personal safety as far as you want to defend your home yourself, or you want to hunt. I totally get it. It's not my bag, baby, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you no. But this constant badgering of like the Second Amendment is on the line. No, it has never been. It never will be, because even when kids die, they still don't care.
Even better, talking about this forced reset trigger device, they will not be considered firearms. Therefore, they can be purchased anonymously without a background or an age check.
Because it's not a gun or a weapon itself. It's a device. It's a device. So
right.
Yeah. Of course not, Jane.
It's all good.
Why do we want to track these things?
There have been several lawsuits over the forced reset trigger ban. Lower court judges had issued rulings that came down on both sides of it. Now the Trump administration abandoning the effort to restrict them. A former senior ATF official criticizing the move, predicting the courts would have upheld a ban on reset trigger devices. These things are not like bump stocks. And it's called a dangerous backroom deal.
Oh, yeah, this whole thing is. We're going to be in a world of hurt, and I'm wondering, and I said this to you before we went on the show today, and I said, I wonder how many people are going to, who are the loyal, what is going to break the camel's back for them? And I know it's going to be what affects them directly, of course.
Of course.
Even though we've seen people directly affected by certain policies of this administration who still say, well, I still support him because they're just doing what they need to do. But myvote.wi.gov.
Make a call. Drop a line.
Be respectful.
Be respectful. Absolutely. When we return, penny for your thoughts. That's all on the way.
For long.
Text in the word BASE, by the way, BASE, via the Civic Media app. It is our statewide text to win contest for a 4-pack of brewer tickets. You are listening to Matenaer On Air. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
So here's a penny for your thoughts, a nickel for a kiss, a dime if you tell me that you love me, penny for your thoughts.
Good morning and welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, Calvitini on the board, coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. You can always join us, call or text. The number is the same, 855-752-4842. You can leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Coming up next hour, Kyle from the Madison Mallards is going to be joining us talking about minor league baseball. And we had a great comment from Greg, who says the Green Bay Rockers, the 2023 Northwoods League champions.
Nice.
Yeah. Well done.
Nice.
That's pretty great. So, yes, we're going to talk about the Madison Mallards. Tyler Moss will be here after the 10:30 news in our audio sorbet segment. And we're going to talk about all the things going on this weekend if you're looking for something to do.
There they are. The hops.
On our long holiday weekend.
Yeah.
This is something I'm really curious what folks think about this. 855-752-4842. Are you a penny fan? Do we care about the penny? Penny, for your thoughts?
I really don't care. I mean,
U.S. Treasury unveils its plan to end penny production. This is something that's been talked about for a long time.
Like a long
time.
It's the fact that the penny doesn't have a buying power anymore.
It costs more to produce pennies than it's actually worth.
It's not really made of copper either, James. I mean,
not for a long time.
Yeah, and I mean, we're at the point where people just throw pennies away, which is very weird because banks still take them. You can put them in those Coinstar machines and get some money back, like Jane does.
I do.
I have a tin, a Heineken tin. That's not an advertisement. That I was given for my 21st birthday, so long ago. That I just poked a hole in the top.
Only pennies?
No. All coins.
All coins.
All coins. But yeah, and people will actually send pennies back to the Treasury. I don't know why, but they will. I mean, we don't. I'll ask this question. Why do you think we need the penny if you believe in the penny so much? That's what I want to know.
855-752-4842. Calvin, what do you think about the penny?
Well, I mean, I personally don't like the penny. Like, I don't like having it, like, on me or receiving it. But that being said, are things just always going to be rounded up to the nearest nickel then? Like, that seems kind of dumb.
Well, and it's they're either going to round up or round down, and rounding down seems, call me crazy, unlikely.
Well, because if they round up, it's going to be a matter of like 1 to 4 cents, and no one really cares, and they're not going to round down because they'll lose money.
Exactly.
But also, is there any other country in the world, developed country, that has a single penny piece of currency? I mean, you go over to just England, they don't have.
They have pence.
They do?
Oh,
Still?
Yeah.
I thought I thought they did the same thing. They just went to their version of a nickel, if you will.
I'll have to double check that.
Well,
my husband is listening. He'll correct me. 855-752-4842. Shishu on the live stream says, I'm a big fan of the penny. It's really important to fundraisers. Also, how are cash transactions going to be handled with items not at a nickel cost? Well, again, Shishu, I think that's where they're going to round it up.
Yeah, looks like they still do. I for some reason thought that it was like a 5, 10, 20.
No, you still get pence. But I saw something also that said only 1 in 5 of us now actually use cash in transactions.
I definitely don't anymore because I used to when I worked at 2 jobs that had cash tips. I reported them, and I would have cash. And it actually was kind of nice always having like $50-$60 on you just in case, because you go to the odd places like cash only, like,
right.
Ooh, weird. But yeah, I do not carry cash on me at all.
855-752-4842. Will you miss the penny or not so much? Tom from West Dallas. Good morning, Tom. Thanks for joining us. What do you think about this?
Good morning. I just think back to the movie Office Space, where that was their plan, that they were going to just take the few cents that the company would never miss, and then like a day later they like had a few $1 million because of those little cents adding up that quickly. So I think about that, and as far as I love using cash, But mainly it's just because the government can track everything you do when you use a card. And they can't do it if you play in cash.
It's true.
I mean, while I agree with that, I think there's other ways for them to track you.
But as far as spending money, though, Tom's right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it. Richard from Waukesha is on the line. Good morning, Richard. Thanks for joining us. What do you think about the penny?
Well, during the campaign for president, I was promoting a 35-cent coin with Obama on one side and the other presidential candidate on the other side. Vice presidential candidate, because they were the first of their kind to be elected. I was going for a 35 cents because that would save on pennies, because everything's 99 cents.
Well, shouldn't it be a 33-cent coin then?
Well, or make a 4-cent coin. You know, somehow the mint's got to change what they're doing and then save copper.
Well, thank you, Richard. I appreciate you checking in on this.
I think currently 2% of every penny is made of copper. It's the outside, and the inside is all mostly silver. But yeah, I don't know. Like, for me, I want to. This thing is, I want to care about this, and I know there are people out there who are gonna be like, "We need the penny, Greg. You don't understand." But I'm one of those 4 and 5 that doesn't use cash.
See, and I do use cash occasionally.
Yeah.
But I am not yet to the point where I dig in my purse so I can pay exact change.
Thank you for everyone who stands behind you in line. Or
that's going to ruin my goal of being that lady.
Your total is $4.95. Do you take a check?
I want to be here so bad.
You will be someday.
I'm probably close. News is coming up next. Stay with us. You are listening to Matenaer On Air. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. Don't go away. Welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, Calvin Butenhoff, coming to you live from our studio here at Radio Park in Racine. You can always join us, call or text, no matter where you are listening to the show. The number is the same, 855-752-4842. You can also leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. And we have a new feature on the Civic Media app that allows you to leave a voice note.
Yep. Yeah, go to your Civic Media app, open it up. You can open it up right now if you'd like, and you can go to the whatever
main station.
Main station, you have a choice. You'll have the choice of call, text, but then right smack in the middle, voice note. Press that, record a voice note, send it our way. We're going to listen to it to make sure, A, it's in context to what we're talking about, or B, it's FCC compliant.
That too.
And if it goes through all those checkpoints, we play it on the air. But remember this. Identify yourself. Just give us your first name. You can tell us where you're calling, where you're voice messaging from, and what station you're listening to, or if you're just listening to the app. But we want to hear from you.
Definitely.
So get the Civic Media app. Download it today. It's free. Leave us a voice text. That'd be cool.
And another good reason to have the Civic Media app is because our statewide Text to Win contest is underway. It's Free Ticket Friday. So you have until 11 o'clock to text in via the Civic Media app. The word this hour is BASE.
Yeah.
BASE. Text in the word BASE via the Civic Media app, and you are in the running for a 4-pack of Milwaukee Brewers tickets when they host Boston on Tuesday, May 27th. Club level seats, really nice seats. Greg and I have used those seats. They're terrific. Text in the word BASE, BASE, and you will be in the running for that 4-pack of tickets, just like Monica in Kenosha, Brad in Delavan. We have Eric in Marshall, Tony in Beaver Dam, Mark doesn't say where he is, in Madison, WMDX, Kurt in Eau Claire, John, Milwaukee, Cassandra, New London, and on and on and on. Text in the word BASE, B-A-S, not vase, Jess. She just texted that in. BASE, B-A-S-E. Jesse from Dane County, you want to enter that again. The word is BASE, B-A-S-E, to be in the running for that 4-pack of tickets to see the Crew host Boston on Tuesday, May 27th. Lots of things coming up this hour. We're going to talk to Kyle from the Madison Mallards in just a little bit, find out what their season is going to be like and what special, they have the greatest special promotions on the planet.
Those baseball teams all do. I mean,
they're so clever.
Yeah. John Oliver actually just covered it in like the past 2 or 3 weeks about these independent minor league teams and how they'll change their names for one night. And that name will be about, it'll be about something in the culture of the community they're in.
Right.
Or they'll just change it to something absolutely insane. But
so much fun.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it really is. So stick around for that. Kyle's going to be here in just a little bit after 10:30. Tyler Moss from Milwaukee Record. And then we're going to wrap up the show as we always do with This Shouldn't Be a Thing. Today it's the Human Sticky Tape edition. And there's a video element as well.
Brace oneself.
You want to stick around for this. I'm telling you want to stick around. All right. I would love to hear your opinion on this because I think it's going to cause a lot of controversy. This is something that's been talked. I'm serious. People have very strong feelings about this. This is the headline from TMJ4. Mixed reactions as Oak Creek police move to enforce parade viewing spot rules. Police have announced they will confiscate property left more than 24 hours before the 4th of July parade. This is something that happens in a lot of communities. People have their regular spots where they go to watch parades, and then they block it off, or they leave their chairs, on the road in their spots, and they leave them there for days.
Yeah.
Lots of people have been doing this for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And I've been in the Oak Creek Parade. It's very popular.
You are very famous, Jane.
No, it's just part of the job. But should people be allowed to stake their spot for a parade or not? Do you just show up the day of the parade and you take your chances? Or should they be able to mark off their spot with their chairs and whatever else they want to bring for their parade? 855-752-4842. That's 855-75-CIVIC. Should people be allowed to block off their parade viewing area 2 days before the actual parade happens. 855-752-4842.
I am going to probably be very unpopular with this opinion, but I am going to say no.
No.
I think you want to show up the day of and plot out your space. Cool. Someone has to be there the entire time. Period.
So they have to camp there.
Mm-hmm.
Or sleep in the chair.
And just no. Well, they can't do it overnight either. No, this is not like they can't sit there for 3 days either in a tent. It's the day of. You can find your space the day of. Then you have to have someone there throughout the entire day, or someone just or no. I just this notion of like first of all, nothing against Oak Creek and nothing against the 4th of July parade, but it's the Oak Creek 4th of July parade. Who's coming in 3 days early?
There are some communities where it's a huge deal.
In Racine, it is also a big deal. I mean, when I worked for the city, it was like, don't even go near downtown on that day. Even I'm not even talking about your car. It's just insanity.
It's so crazy.
But I think, personally, if you want to save a spot, that's fine. You can do it the day of. Anything else, clear it out, because it can also get in the way. And let's say like here in Racine, that parade runs along a residential area. So
it's run down right down Main Street.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So people might be saying like, if it's my property, I'm like, no, you can do it the day of. If you are on my property, if you set yourself, it will be swiped away, and the day of that, then you can do it. But let's say I need to do something like mow my lawn or something like that. I just think, first of all, this is just ridiculous. I can't even believe I'm getting so passionate about it. But also, I personally think, no, day of. That's it.
855-752-4842. Greg says no. You shouldn't be able to park out a couple of days ahead of time before the parade. How do you feel about that? 855-752-4842. That's 855-75-CIVIC. Cassandra on the live stream says if they get that many people, maybe they should start renting out spots similar to people renting out parking in Madison for Badger games.
Yeah.
Well, and what about the State Fair Park people?
Oh my gosh, they make
do that every year. Yeah, during the Wisconsin State Fair. PJ says he also votes no.
Yeah.
How do we feel about people staking out their spots for 4th of July parades or even other parades? 855-752-4842. This year, Oak Creek's 4th of July parade attendees can set up personal public viewing areas no earlier than 24 hours prior to the July 4th 9 a.m. start. So you still have an extra day.
You still have that is being generous and more than enough time. I'm sorry, but just I don't want to hang out with a person whose whole existence at a certain point is like, I have to stake out my place for the 4th of July parade. And it's like 96 hours before the event.
People do.
I don't understand.
People do. It's their thing.
I don't get it. I do not understand. And if you do this, call too. Let me know why. Tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me the greatness of doing this, because it literally is you're trying to press information into my brain, and my brain's like, no, don't do it.
It's tradition, Greg.
What does that even mean, though?
It's our family tradition that we sit in front of this house every 4th of July and watch the parade go by.
What I hear when you say it is tradition that every year, somewhere around Wednesday, Bob goes out to this area and sets down a bunch of chairs and a table and whatever else needs to happen, and that's the tradition. It's watching the parade is the tradition. Being with your family is a great tradition, but it's almost what it says to me is that if you don't have that exact spot every year, then somehow it's less or ruined or bad. I just don't. Yeah.
Tony on the live stream says, Greg, you don't stake out your place for a 4th of July parade. Don't you love America?
No, he said, don't you love America?
Well, that too.
Yeah.
No dedication in you kids. Cassandra says, Greg, too. I also don't get it. I feel like it's similar to people camping out for Black Friday sales.
Yeah. Also, I'm pretty sure I'm older than Tony, but that's not the point. The point is that, like, yeah, and this is just, who cares about my opinion? My opinion doesn't matter. It doesn't.
Well, we all have an opinion.
And Oak Creek is made so you get a full day.
Police say that the policy enforces existing laws regarding abandoned property in public spaces In recent years, some early parade goer setups have become hazards to drivers and pedestrians in the day before the parade. Personal items put up along the parade route before 9 a.m. July 3rd, like chairs, tents, tables, blankets, coolers, will be considered abandoned property and may be confiscated. Those confiscated items can then be scheduled to be picked up from the City of Oak Creek Department of Public Works the day after the 4th of July parade.
Well, and that's the other question I have, too, is that, one, this wouldn't be coming to light. This wouldn't be being done if there weren't already problems. There had to, like, they're not just willy-nilly saying, you know what, I don't like this. Or, they're not me. They're not being petty. But
no, I'm sure there are reasons.
But also, like, think about it. Like, if you put out a blanket, I get that. But if you're putting out a blanket, a chair, a cooler, that's some money. And what happens if someone just drives past and goes, that's mine now?
Oh, exactly. And I'm sure
it.
A bunch of stuff has been stolen over the years.
It just doesn't make sense to me. Thank you, Cassandra. She says, you matter, Greg. I know I matter, but my opinion does not.
855-752-4842. You feeling passionate about parades? Should you be able to set up 3 days ahead of time so you have your super special spot?
Do you think they should? Do you?
I don't. And again, I've had the good fortune of riding in many parades over the years in my jobs. Mm-hmm. Which is always a lot of fun. The one thing I never understood about parade goers is people who film the parade. I'm serious, because I used to drive, I'm going, you're doing the wave and all that stuff, and people are filming, and I used to yell at them, are you really going to watch this again? Do you really, what, really?
And Tony says it here right on the live stream. He says, in all seriousness, I don't really get parades. My kids love them, but I never have. And that's the thing.
They're great for kids.
They're great for kids. But as an adult saying, I'm going to go to the parade, it just doesn't do anything for me.
But people have done it at Milwaukee's lakefront for the fireworks for years and set up tents and all that stuff.
Which I am also not a fan of, because it also discourages families from just getting up, getting in their car when they know that they're not going to be able to get a good seat,
a spot, right?
Then maybe have a specific section where you can. Fine.
Or you can reserve your spot.
But also, as far as I know, and I've been to the park for the fireworks, is it's set in, it's not around the street. It doesn't pose a hazard to cars or pedestrians.
Right.
But also, it's like how many times have you not gone somewhere because we're never going to find a spot?
All the good spots are going to be taken already.
Exactly. It kind of sucks the fun out of it.
Well, we'll see what happens in Oak Creek for the 4th of July. I think there are going to be people who are very, very upset.
Oh, yeah,
this.
there will be.
When we return, we are talking all things Madison Mallards. Stay close. You are listening to Matenaer On Air. Text in the word BASE, by the way, BASE, via the Civic Media app. You're listening to the Civic Media Radio Network. We'll be right back.
Good morning, Kyle. Can you hear me all right?
Yep, I can hear you.
All right. You sound good, too. We'll be back from break in about 2 minutes.
Perfect.
Then just to make sure we have it right, how do you say your last name, Kyle?
Chisholm.
All right, perfect. That's what we thought.
Yeah, thank you.
Take me out to the ball game.
Good morning. Welcome back to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, and Calvinator on the board, coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. Join us, call or text. The number is the same, 855-752-4842. You can leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. You still have time up until 11 o'clock to text in via the Civic Media app. The word BASE, B-A-S-E. Text in the word BASE. It is our statewide text to win free ticket Friday contest. We're playing for a 4-pack of tickets to see the Brewers host Boston on Tuesday, May 27th. So text in the word BASE. You've got until 11 o'clock to send that in at the Civic Media app.
There you go.
And then your next chance will be with Tom Hartman from 11 to 2. He'll have a different word. Todd Alba, the same, different word from 2 to 4. And then Maggie Dawn from 4 to 6, our free ticket Friday statewide text to win contest. Speaking of baseball, delighted to be joined by Kyle Chisholm with the Madison Mallards is here. Good morning, Kyle. How are you?
Good morning. Doing well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. We were talking before you joined us just how much we love minor league baseball, because you guys, it just seems like you have so much more freedom to do whatever you want, essentially. and I love the silly, joyful things that you guys do.
Yeah, thank you. It's definitely up there for the perks of the job is creative liberties. So we try to pitch it to all of our interns, all of our staff. Ideas come from anywhere and everywhere. So
those must be the most fun meetings to be in on.
Yeah, almost every Friday that's in the off season, we do kind of like an office happy hour. We throw out every idea we've got. And then the following Monday, we cut down the list and we try to see what we can make happen.
But I love that it's one of those meetings where there are no bad ideas.
Yeah.
Just throw everything at the wall, and then we'll parse it out later, right?
Challenge accepted.
Yeah. I mean, we've had people in passing throw something out, and we're like, actually, that's not a bad idea. Like, we could figure out a way to make that work.
Now, in your title, I have to assume then it says Madison Mallards and Nightmares. Is that an alternate name for the team this year?
It's our softball team. So just last year, we launched a softball team, Madison Nightmares Softball. So there's 5 teams in the Northwoods League that operate totally the same way the Mallards do, summer collegiate softball. And it's the premier spot in Wisconsin to catch some of the best in the country playing softball.
And we're really talking about some good baseball. You know, as much as we like to embrace all the promotions and the silly things about it, these are still some pretty great athletes.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got players from Division I all the way down to junior college NAIA schools. But some of our best players coming through have been from schools you might not have ever heard of. It's a really cool spot.
And one of the things you just mentioned too is when it comes to these leagues, it's a good way for college kids to stay in shape and stay playing, because when school is done, they're going to have a whole summer, and of course they're going to train, but what better way to train is to actually play the game. And that's what the Mallards and other teams provide, is that opportunity to keep up their work and keep them in shape and keep them sharp.
Yeah, and we've been fortunate to provide a platform for players with transfer portal and all that sort of thing. Players who are looking to change schools, players who are looking to get drafted. It is an incredible highlight for them to be able to showcase their skills throughout the summer, stay sharp, And we've had people go on to, they've gotten on a scout's radar and they've gotten drafted, or they were at a small school. They, were in front of a scout who was looking at maybe somebody else. They perform well that day, and it opens the door, presents an opportunity. It's really, really cool to see.
That's really exciting.
I love baseball so much.
Kyle Chisholm is our guest here with the Madison Mallards and also the Nightmares, the new softball league that they kicked off last year. Yeah. So, what are some of the promotions that are coming up for the summer, Kyle, that you can share with us?
Yeah, opening day is Monday on the 26th. That's just welcoming our team back to the Duck Pond for the summer. That's our 25th season. So we're kind of beginning those celebrations. It's a really cool thing to be in the Madison community for 25 years, 4 of which I'll have been here. So this is something that we're trying to do a lot of celebrations of. We're going to spend a lot of time recounting all the memories from the years. We always see people with our old logos and old merchandise on, and people have been around since before the Mallards were here. They're coming to games at Warner Park since the Muskies in the 80s. So it's a celebration of baseball in the Warner Park area for the entirety of the Mallards history, but also since the stadium was built. So within that first week, we actually have a drone show that is themed to the 25 season. So a lot of shout outs and callbacks to 25 years worth of Mallards memories.
It's interesting because it almost feels like people have more loyalty to these smaller minor league teams than they do the Brewers or the major league teams.
Yeah, it is so interesting. And it was something that I hadn't even really been privy to until I started working here, is like people really do care about the summer collegiate ball. And it's great to be building like a passionate local audience to, the team turns over, but they want the Mallards to succeed no matter which players are here. And it's been awesome to put together some familiar faces. You see the same fans in the ballpark, and every day kind of presents a new opportunity to create a new fan.
If you just look up and see it, what kind of independent or minor league baseball you have in your community, you're going to find something. I mean, like you've got the Mallards, we got the Milkmen right here in the Milwaukee area. I got the Kenosha Kingfish to go see. There's plenty of chance to see great baseball, and it's also affordable to go to these games. The tickets are affordable. Mm-hmm. The concessions are affordable. It's just a great night with the family. And Kyle, are there any theme nights that are coming up this season that you want to highlight that are really getting you excited to see them happening?
Yeah, absolutely. The drone show, first and foremost, is way up there for us. It's something that you don't quite realize how cool it is until you're sitting in front of it.
Yeah,
but we've got 150 drones that light up the sky and form those images. We're bringing a card show. So with the popularity of the baseball card market, we're going to be doing that on Monday, June 2nd, which also happens to be the day that we're assembling the world's largest pep band. So we have 500 musicians from all sorts of high schools across the area. And we're going to be encouraging fans to bring their own instrument. And if you do, you get in for $5 and you can play along with the band and help us create a little bit of history here at the Duck Pond.
We will include a link to the Madison Mallards homepage so you can check it all out. Kyle Chisholm with the Madison Mallards and the Nightmares. Thanks so much, Kyle. We'll check in with you a little bit later on in the season. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
News coming up next. Stay with us. You're listening to Matenaer On Air. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Good morning, Tyler. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can.
All right, awesome. We come back in just over 3 minutes.
Hey, Tyler.
Hey.
Hey, just as a reminder, when we're done here, just stick around in the live stream and let the files upload. You don't have to do anything, and once it's uploaded, you can take off.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right.
Then someone buys another round and whatever drinks are free. What made Milwaukee famous?
Good morning. Welcome back to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, Dr. Slide on the board. Coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine, where you can always join us, call or text at 855-752-4842. Leave a comment on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. You got about 25 minutes to text in the word BASE, B-A-S-E, via the Civic Media app, and that will get you in the running for a 4-pack of club-level seats when the Brewers host Boston on Tuesday, May 27th. So text in the word BASE right now using the Civic Media app, and you are in the running for our statewide text-to-win contest, just like Bob in Richland Center, Janet in Madison, Sam in Madison, and so many, many more. Text in the word BASE, B-A-S-E. Your next word will come up in the Tom Hartman Show from 11 to 2. Another word from 2 to 4 with Todd Alba, and then from 4 to 6 with Maggie Dawn. Right now, we are joined by the co-creator, writer of Milwaukee Record. Tyler Moss is here. Good morning, Tyler. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm actually a festival producer now.
Oh,
on top of
really?
all that other stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll be getting into that, I'm sure, in a few minutes. So.
For people who
And that's
don't
been
know
my
you-
life, if you can't see. All the bags under my eyes, and I had brown hair before this all started. So.
Setting up the festivals. Yeah, no pressure there. You can find the Milwaukee Record. It's MilwaukeeRecord.com, MilwaukeeRecord.com. We will include the link in the show notes. But we wanted to talk about some things that are going on over our long holiday weekend here in Milwaukee. So where would you like to start, Tyler?
Why don't we start with later this evening? There is, it seems weird to say it, but there's a band called the Delta Routine that I wrote about a lot when I just had recently moved here about 15 years ago. They were very active. They were on the road a bunch, and then they kind of gradually stopped. They're doing a 20th anniversary show, which is weird because I look and feel so young. that it's been 20 years. But they're going to be at the Cooperage later tonight, and they're going to be doing some of their old favorites. They actually have a new vinyl release of some new stuff and some things from their past that they are excited about. They just wanted to get it on wax, I think, for the first time ever, since they're like a lot of their existence was in the CD boom era. So it's like a vinyl release. It's hey, we've been doing this for 20 years, and like you can hear these songs that you like and a few new things, and just a night of that. And then a band called Wire and Nail, local kind of folk adjacent, maybe country tinge band. They're opening.
Nice.
I love how vinyl has become cool again. This kills me because when I started in radio, I was actually using albums. So to see them come back and have it be something that's cool just makes me happy.
Cool. And
I feel like I'm cool adjacent now.
Cool and expensive. Yeah.
Are albums expensive?
If you buy, like you can still go to an album shop and buy a half price vinyl or a used vinyl for $2, $3, $5. But nowadays, when bands are putting out albums, they're putting out like these really well constructed albums, sometimes on color vinyl with liner notes and amazing artwork. 180 grams. If it says 180 grams, you're paying at least $30 for it.
Wow.
But it's the only way to help artists in the modern day hellscape that is doing anything. So that helps. But and I think like a lot of bands too, they've waited so long to get their vinyl that they're just like, we'll just do CDs. And so I feel like there is a sort of we've reached the tipping point for records, and now it'll be going back to CDs. So hold on to your CDs if you have them.
There'll be a whole secondary market for that too, I suppose.
Yeah.
That's a hard pass for me. I remember when I moved, one time I moved, I'm like, you know what? I'm never doing this again. I had like 5 boxes of CDs and I was like, no, they're heavy. I sold them all.
You did?
Oh yeah. They're on my hard drive now. It's fine. I'm fine with that stuff. I have some records. It's good, but I'm never going back to No, I'll never go back to CDs.
Hard pass from Greg Bach on these CDs. All right. So that is tonight at the Cooperage, this 20th anniversary show of the Delta Routines. What else is happening this weekend if people are listening and want to start making some plans?
Well, after that show, I would recommend that you go home and rest up, and you wake up early and you meet us at Morgan Park for the inaugural Morgan Park Picnic, a brand new festival that we are doing with a local bar. It used to be Romans. It's now a bar called Busby's. This will be their 1-year anniversary, and we are kind of working with each other in order to do this awesome festival in a 1-acre park. It's a park that a lot of people that if they live in Bayview or in St. Francis or like whatever, they like routinely go by and they have no idea it exists because it's that little.
Is it that Triangle Park there?
Yeah, it's right by Landmark Diner. It's right by Busby's, and
I lived a 2-minute walk from that space, and I'm telling you, I lived there for 7 years. I never once went to that park.
Yeah,
I did go to Romans. Park. Yeah, I did go to Romans and watch people get kicked out for asking for spotted cow. That's something he would do. He was a very terse individual, but awesome. This is great.
Peace, it's a very it's a little. It's not super little. It's 1 acre, and it's a very sort of underutilized area that I love. I live a short walk from there too. Please don't dox me. But it'll be a day full of live music. It'll actually launch with a live in-person yoga session from noon to 12:45 from Helium, and then it will work its way into music. There'll be a show from Scam Likely, then from El Sebas, and then Lady Bird will be the headliner. So It'll be from noon to 6. There'll be some food trucks. There'll be about 25 area retailers and organizations that will be along Pennsylvania Avenue, and it should be fun. It's free. It's for the whole family.
I love the idea that you're going to have a yoga session so everybody can get all stretched out and all limbered out before you start abusing your body. I think that's really important.
I'll be doing the upward facing arm.
It's a different kind of yoga. It's a different kind of yoga.
And I'm just gonna quick plug Lady Bird. Lady Bird is a great alt country act. They're fantastic. little bit of punk elements to the group too. 3 of my friends are in that band. They got great records out, so Lady Bird is worth listening to.
Well, and I love too, Tyler, that you're highlighting. I think we have all kinds of little gems in Milwaukee and the surrounding areas, like this little park that Greg probably drove past 47 times in a month, and never went to. Yeah. And it's a great way to bring. It's like, oh my God, this thing is here in my backyard that I've never used. So that's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Yeah, it's a neat thing. It's a lot of work, but we're hoping that we did it all, and then next year will be a little bit easier because we learned a lot. I usually say like, hey, we want to do something at your venue that's insured, that has a staff. And for us, it's like, oh, we have to, because it's at a Milwaukee County Park, we need to go through one set of hoops. And then we also want to block a back road in order to have the vendors and the band load in. And we have to work through the city for that. And then you're hearing a lot of different stuff. You're having to accidentally pay twice for things and add people that spend on the insurance. And
yeah, a whole learning curve for that, I would imagine.
Yeah, a guy that's not sure if he even has health insurance anymore is having to take out a $1 million insurance policy.
Oh boy!
So if it's not obvious, please come to this thing. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Excellent. So that's tomorrow from 12 to 6. You said
yes,
at Morgan Park in Milwaukee in the Bayview neighborhood.
Yeah, it's in this weird area where it's right against where Bayview and Fernwood meet. And that's another neighborhood no one's heard of, but it's like an 8-block area, basically nestled between St. Francis and Bayview. Yeah. And then you can literally see the St. Francis sign from the very end of the park too. So it's right on the cusp, but it's in it's a city of Milwaukee park that's in Bayview.
Yeah,
Bayview is a little gem. If you've never been to Bayview, it really is, and I'm so happy to see the resurgence that area has seen over the last 20 years, because 20 years ago, that wasn't necessarily a place that you wanted to be. And it took a lot of concerted efforts by merchants and everything along KK to help bring that area back. And now it's just booming. It's great.
I mean, it's just an awesome, I've lived there for probably 12 of the 15 years that I've lived here. And it's, I just love it. Yeah, there's a lot of awesome local businesses, a lot of artists around. Yeah, great restaurants and awesome parks, both big and small. And and also a new festival, the Morgan Park Picnic.
Please go to.
Please go.
I really need this.
Tyler Moss is here from Milwaukee Record talking about all the things that you can do this weekend if you're looking to get out and about. And right now the weather is looking fantastic. I just stuck my head outside. It is beautiful. It's really kind of perfect, actually.
And something you mentioned in the email exchange we had here is that the Laughing Tap this weekend, there is a young man named Nick Vatterott who is headlining this 3 shows, 1 tonight, 2 tomorrow. Tickets are $22 online, $25 at the door. Nick Vatterott is a man among himself. He is a comedian's comedian, and he is so funny. He's absurd. He's weird. He's artistic. He says things on stage that make no sense coming out of other people's mouths, but are so funny. And he has, in my opinion, the funniest Conan set that's ever been done.
What is a Conan set?
Conan O'Brien.
Yes.
So he did a stand-up set on Conan's show. And of all the comedians he's had on all the shows, and it's been probably hundreds of comedians over the decades, his is my favorite, period. It is so weird and so funny and a bit uncomfortable, but it all works out. And not to mention, Nick is one of the nicest humans that there is.
That's always so nice to
hear.
I
always tell people, like, I'm like, someday I'll tell you how I met him, but I'll say this because it's too long of a story. But I'll say this: it was my fault, and I did apologize. So,
well, now I'm intrigued.
Yeah, so he'll be there. 3 shows: 1 tonight, 7:30, 2 tomorrow, 7:30, and 10. Tickets are available, and the lineup is great. John Egan he's the feature. He's from Green Bay. He is fantastic. And then Sasha Rosser, who is from Madison, who just won Madison's Funniest Comedian, is the host. So this is going to be a stacked lineup and a great show.
And it's it's really reasonably priced. It is.
And you better get in now before we close the venue, that venue for good.
Less than a month from now, right?
Yep. Our last show will be in 4 weeks. Oops, all headliners. We close those doors, looking for a new home. We'll announce soon. But yeah, for right now, get
in between that, though, you have also Bobcat Goldthwait and you have Dana Gould. that little show, that little weekend.
Oh, that's
the
gonna be
biggest
amazing.
weekend you've ever had. And
that's
I
next
hate that
weekend.
I'll be gone for it, but yeah, if you're able to, if you're not going to be in Louisville like me, you should go.
Yeah.
Well, we will put a link into the Laughing tab if you would like to check that out and go see go get some laughs over the weekend.
Absolutely.
Great idea. One more thing before we let you go, Tyler. There is something happening on Monday night for young widows.
Yeah, Monday. Speaking of, I said before, Louisville, I will be there next week, hopefully decompressing after a very successful show. But a band from there, a sort of stoner metal, very heavy rock band called Young Widows. They will be at the Cactus Club. Nice. It's a rare thing when you have a show that's on the actual holiday. I feel like a lot of bands avoid that. But if you want to get out and about and you want to hear some awesome music, you should get your face rocked off by them at the Cactus Club.
Who doesn't want to get your face rocked off?
Exactly.
I don't know anyone.
Exactly.
Tyler Moss from Milwaukee Record. Thank you so very much for joining us, Tyler. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Go see him tomorrow in Bayview at the park.
Yes, please do.
And have a wonderful time. Stay close. When we return, we're going to wrap it up with This Shouldn't Be a Thing, Sticky Human Edition. You're listening to Matenaer On Air. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Too late, I finally see what made me walk famous. It's made a loser out of me. What made me walk famous. It's made a loser out of me.
Welcome back to Matenaer On Air. Jay Matenaer, Greg Bach, Calvin Butonoff, coming to you live from our studio at Radio Park in Racine, no matter where you are listening across the state, around the country, around the world.
Vienna, New Zealand, wherever.
Via the Civic Media app. You can always join us, call or text at 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. You can also text us directly via the Civic Media app. And you want to do that right now.
Right now.
Get your phone, open up the Civic Media app, text in the word BASE, B-A-S-E, B as in boy. Text in the word BASE, B-A-S-E. It's our statewide text to win free ticket Friday. Your shot at a 4-pack of tickets to see the Brewers host Boston on Tuesday, May 27th. Club level seats, very nice cushy seats.
Yeah.
4 of them.
And get the app, listen, text in to win. It doesn't matter if you like us or dislike us. You can still enter.
Absolutely. Text in the word BASE, B-A-S-E. You have until noon, so you got about 7-ish minutes. Text in the word BASE, B-A-S-E, and you're in the running for that 4-pack of Brewers tickets like Josie from Greenfield just did.
Now they only have 6 minutes.
And John in Janesville. And Kate and Howard and Carla in Eagle River.
Look at all these names.
Keep
They're all my
coming in.
friends.
The word is BASE, B-A-S-E. Good luck. Tom Hartman will have another word for you from 11 to 2. Yet another one from 2 to 4 with Todd Alba. And then Maggie Dawn wraps it up today from 4 to 6 p.m., our statewide text-to-win contest. Coming up on Monday, we will be doing a best of that Greg has lovingly curated for you. You spend a lot of the time on that. You do.
Well, you know, you want to make sure people are listening to good stuff. And also, people listen to me like, wait a minute, that's not happening today. And that's not, you know, it's a wonderfully curated episode with some of our favorite interviews, some of our favorite moments. It's going to be like a show from start to finish. We'll have opening. We're going to have 2 interviews, and I'll tell you right now, it's a replay of Judge Paul Michel from
So interesting.
Keeping Our Republic's Article 3 Coalition, which is a group of nonpartisan judges coming together to try to save democracy. We're going to have Pam Yonke's interview as well.
Another good one.
Audio so right, and this shouldn't be a thing. So if you're around on Monday and you want to listen, it's there for you.
You can listen on the app. Take us outside with you when you're barbecuing or whatever. All right, it's getting late, Calvin. It's 10:55. That means it is time for...
This shouldn't be a thing.
If you ever have a thing that you think should not be, send it into Greg and me at janesays@civicmedia.us. This from UPI. Our friend Ben Hooper. He gets all the best ones with the byline. The headline reads, "Man balances 96 spoons on his body to break his own world record." There's a video element that we will include in the show notes. It's worth watching. An Iranian man, Greg Bach, balanced 96 spoons on his body to break a Guinness World Record for the 3rd time.
Third time?
The 3rd time. The 3rd time. 54-year-old Ebo Falzi Saber Mokhtari originally set the record for the most spoons balanced on a body at 85 back in 2021. Then he broke his own record, upped it to 88 spoons in 2023. He has now broken the record a 3rd time with a total of 96 spoons. The 3-time record breaker says he's been sticking objects to his skin since he was a child.
I don't think that man understands how that statement never needs to be said out loud, or how we would take it once he said, like, I've been sticking spoons and things to my body since I was a wee baby boy.
We have a quote.
Oh, yeah?
Quote, "But after multiple years of practice and effort,
God,
I was able to strengthen my talent and develop it to where it is now. Anything, I mean it, any object, anything that has a surface I can stick to my body, such as plastic, glass, fruit, stone, wood, even a fully grown human being." Unquote. Maybe he should take a bath.
Yeah, I'm going to say, how about some proper washing, buddy? Also, Ben,
this is something you want to brag about.
Ben, if you're out there listening to our show right now, because I know you are, and I'd like you to be on this show, allow me to send you a pack of whatever you like to drink, because, man, to find some of these stories, wow.
He is truly a hero among reporters.
And he specializes, that's the word. Like, he specializes in these weird stories.
Yes.
And we've used him a lot, and this is probably among the weirder ones.
I think this is maybe one of my favorite quotes of all time. The 3-time record breaker says he has been sticking objects to his skin since he was a child. So he's just a natural. He's naturally sticky.
I'm naturally tacky and sticky. Things just stick to me.
It just happens. Maybe he got the COVID shot, and that's why he's metallic, and he's magnetic now, and that's why spoons can stick to him.
Jane getting political in the last
I'm just speculating. It's never wrong to speculate. Ask Jesse Waters. He does it all the time.
Wow.
Just saying.
Yeah. Well, I guess, I don't want to be a pooper on parties, so...
Everybody's got a skill.
Congratulations.
Third time.
Third
time.
Well, I guess in like a year's time, we'll be hearing from them again saying, hey, I could have let it go and you said 92?
96.
At 96, he's going to go for triple digits. This is happening.
Yeah. Give it a year.
Give it a year.
He just needs more training.
Cue Rocky montage. Just, jumping at the wall, trying to stick to the wall. How do you condition that? That's the thing. It's like, if you want to fight in a boxing match, you condition, you lift weights, you run the road, you jump rope. How do you become
train
more sticky?
It's like, well, you have to work at it.
Yeah.
I just think you have to work at it. That wraps up today's episode of
This Shouldn't Be a Thing.
Thank you, Greg and Calvin and all of our engineers and everyone at Civic Media. Without you, nothing works. And thank you most of all for calling and for texting and for listening. It really does mean the world. I hope you find some joy over the weekend, even if it's just a little bit, and you have the chance to share it. Keep it right here. News is coming up next on the Civic Media Radio Network. We'll see you on Tuesday.